all of Westeros.
How long did it take to figure out the ending? Like this, the fallout of how it all goes down. Which bit did you do first?
This, you mean this bit?
No, just the whole last episode. How was this like? Were you thinking about this for like 7 months, 7 years? What was the like?
More like
7 years.
Yeah.
I mean, we were talking about the Jon and Dany fallout going back to. I remember talking about it with Dan in Morocco. You know, during was that prep for season 3 or something? Or, so going way back.
No idea. I literally had no idea.
Well, we didn't tell you guys.
No.
We never wanted everyone to know where they were heading.
No, of course, which I think is important. I think people don't know how much each cast knew about what just the next season was ever going to be. I never wanted to know because I think it's easier to stay within your character and to kind of get behind your character's thought process when you're kind of in it, in the moment that you're in, as opposed to forward planning too much, when so much happens in each season. But yeah, that's so funny to think that season 3, you guys were like, oh yeah, I've got an idea. This is how this goes down.
In terms of the final episode, even just thinking about, you know, where these characters end up, which of them survive, which of them die, that's something we've been talking about right from the get-go. And I think it was around season 3 when it all started to make sense to us exactly where it was going.
I think the final scene between Jon and Daenerys is something we came up with sometime in the midst of the 3rd season of the show. The broad strokes of it, anyway.
Hi there. Those aren't the only clips from the Blu-ray that I'm going to post in this specific video. I just want to react to the first set right now. They actually try to present this in all their stuff as if, oh yeah, you know, we were thinking of it. I guess around season 3 it became clear to us. And in the same video later admitting, I'm saying season 3 because that's when I had a meeting with the actual author of the source material. If you're new to my channel, this is a set of clips from the lost inside the episode to the finale that HBO tried to hide from us because it's so embarrassing. Well, hide it by burying it on the Blu-ray set that you remember how controversial those were, coming out every week when season 8 was airing in May. Dany kind of forgot about Euron's fleet. There was so much backlash. We think they withheld on this, and you know they'd get in trouble if they delayed it forever. So they quietly put it out in the Blu-ray so no one would pay attention to it, but it wouldn't be just hidden forever. And yeah, it was hidden. I'm the only channel reporting on it. This is crazy stuff, you know, even relative to what we heard before, all the things they're saying in the final inside the episode. And they're even contradicting themselves on, oh, was it our idea? Was it Martin's idea? They really wish it was their idea. They wanted to create this. Now, even saying, oh, since season 3, we know that's a lie, and we've heard it before. Let me explain. We know from interviews Brian Cogman gave that the final meeting between them and Martin, actually going over the future book outlines, happened in December of 2012, which was the break between writing seasons 3 and 4. He'll go, oh, they're innocently going by airing date. That at the time, they kept saying, oh, it was between seasons 2 and 3. It was between the airing of 2 and 3. They had already written season 3. For that matter, they had already filmed season 3. Season 3 wrapped filming on November 24th of 2012. The entire reason they were in Los Angeles to meet with George Martin, the entire reason they weren't in Morocco anymore, but had come back to the States to be able to meet with him. He came up from Santa Fe. It's because filming was over. And he's conflating it in his mind here. I don't know if he's lying or if he genuinely believes that. He's come to believe it. That, oh, I guess it was around we were filming in Morocco on set, and ignoring the big meeting with Martin going over the future books when he realized the TV show had outpaced the books. But we've dealt with that lie before. Even before season 8 aired, we knew they were claiming. We knew the ending since season 3 when they couldn't have. It was at least 4, and on top of that, there's other things they've admitted they changed impulsively the year they happened, but I'll get into that. So here we have them trying to convince Emilia Clarke, of all people, that, oh, you know, it's an idea we came up with, you know, I guess on set in Morocco or something. And Emilia, not so subtly, mocks this, just the shade she's throwing in this. Please tell me in the comments what you think of this. When she goes, wow, that's amazing, just on your own. And the unspoken barb is, with no input from George R.R. Martin. That's point one. Point two is, she was filming in Morocco. It was her Slavers Bay storyline. Season 3 was the only season that filmed in Morocco. She knows what was happening then, that it was impossible for them to have been coming up with the ending before the meeting with Martin discussing the ending. Let me be clear, I don't think they were surreptitiously making up their own crazy ending before they even met Martin. They wouldn't have known what to do, and everything else we've seen, they are terrible at long-term planning. I don't think they were really coming up with this alternate ending before they even met him. That's silly. We know they're not like that. The sane answer they could have given but didn't was, oh, on set in Croatia while we were filming season 4 and debating what the notes we had from our final meeting with Martin and how to condense and adapt them. They might have even changed things at that brainstorming session, but that would have meshed with the timeline of meeting with Martin, and they're just absurdly claiming, oh, you know, back when we were filming in Morocco. They might as well have claimed that they knew it since the pilot. That's just as absurd and just as unlikely. That not just that they knew Martin's ending, but they had an ending of their own. They didn't.
I suppose you want the crown.
Me? Can't think of a worse choice.
Who then?
Around season 3, we went to visit George R.R. Martin, and he writes and he kind of figures things out as he's writing. When we went to visit him back then, and this was while he was still writing book 5, he didn't know yet where the story was going, and he knew a few key things, and one of those key things was that the final king at the end of the story would be Bran.
All hail Bran the Broken.
And at other points, it reaches an extreme where, as you can see there, Benioff will try to claim that, oh, Martin doesn't have the books planned out that much. You know, he's really faking it his way through. You know, he doesn't really know. That's why we had to think it up. No. He has an outline. You chose to change it. And these are the same people who like controversial things such as the Sansa rape or TV Dorn or Stannis season 5 things. That wasn't even due to outpacing the printed books. They chose to abandon plot lines from books 4 and 5. And he's seriously going to claim, oh, this might be different because Martin isn't done with it yet. The stuff we have in hand, like books, that you chose not to do, this was already an issue. We didn't forget about things like the Sansa rape not being what happens in published books. But when he goes, oh, well, you know, Martin says he's a gardener, not an architect, he's twisting Martin's words. What Martin means is he's not Tolkien literally plotting things down to the smallest character. But yes, Martin has an outline of what the future storyline is going to be for the primary characters. The core structural skeleton of the story has always been there since the first book was published. For example, Martin has said he knew the Red Wedding would happen, which happens in book 3. He had that planned out since before book 1 was even published. What really questions all the validity of that statement that Benioff just made, oh, he didn't plan it out. In the same video, the inside the episode, Benioff is trying to claim that when this meeting happened between writing seasons 3 and 4, December 2012, he says, oh, Martin wasn't done writing book 5 yet, which that isn't an accident. This isn't tripping over his words. Oh, I forgot that Morocco was already done by then, because, 6 years ago he's conflating things. This is a publicly released video that people would copy edit. And they chose to release it. Him saying, I think it was book 5. There aren't that many books. Book 5 is the most recent one. It was published in 2011, 1 month after the season 1 finale aired. This is after season 2 aired, and they already finished filming season 3, and he's trying to convince us that book 5 wasn't done yet. There aren't many books. Book 4 was released in 2005, 6 years before. There's only 5 current books. He really has to pause and think on which book it was. I don't think that's him being stupid. That's an act, you understand. That's him trying to play coy and, oh, geez, I can't remember if it was a book 4 or 5 or maybe 6. There's only 5 books. Book 6 isn't published. and 5 is the only one published during the run of this series. And you're allegedly adapting it, and you're saying you're so unfamiliar with it, you don't remember the number of book. That's absurd. He's trying to convince naive, casual viewers not familiar with the books that that's what really happened. I'm telling you now that, no, we know you're lying, that you're trying to dupe people into thinking book 5 wasn't even done yet. Just as he's trying to convince everyone that, oh, you know, we thought of this as early, we had our meeting so early, we knew of this when we were writing season 3, and you're making this lie with airing date. It was at least season 4, not 3. He's trying to push it back. Oh, no, book 5 wasn't even done yet. Book 5 was out for a year and a half before this. So, point is, think of these two things together, that, well, he just said that Martin doesn't even have that much of an outline for future books. This is the same man, same video, claiming that book 5 wasn't even published a year and a half after it already was, which there's no way he's mistaking that. He's lying. So if you're saying, oh, he says there's no outline, I point to that book 5 anecdote for just how much validity this guy has. When are you going to take this guy's word, this huckster, this charlatan, over George R.R. Martin about how much of an outline there is? And I'm pretty sure I had book 5 by late 2011 in my hands.
All of Westeros.
How long did it take to figure out the ending? Like this, the fallout of how it all goes down. Which bit did you do first?
This, you mean this bit?
No, just the whole last episode. How was this like? Were you thinking about this for like 7 months, 7 years? What was the
More like
7 years.
Yeah.
I mean, we were talking about the John and Dany fallout going back to. I remember talking about it with Dan in Morocco. You know, during. Was that prep for season 3 or something? So going way back. I had no
idea. I literally had no idea.
Well, we didn't tell you guys.
But yeah, that's so funny to think that season 3, you guys were like, oh yeah, I've got an idea. This is how this goes down.